Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome to Daily Dose Radio this week. This is your home for sustainable, organically grown, 5-minute Bible study, and I think I can say with confidence, the only one that you'll find on the internet today. Well, this week, I hope you'll join me all week long. We're going to be studying Psalm 86, which is a fabulous psalm, and I think messianic. And I'm going to entitle this psalm, The Suffering Servant's Prayer. This is just my commentary. Others will disagree, but I think maybe this is the suffering servant's prayer, and I'll explain as we go through the psalm, studying verse by verse this week, verses 1 through 17 of Psalm 86. I hope you'll join me for these 5-minute Bible studies all week long. Today we are going to begin with verses 1, 2, and 3, but first of all, let me treat the introduction or the superscript, which is right there at the very beginning above verse 1. It says, a prayer of David. So this is another Davidic prayer. We saw last time in Psalm 85 last time, we had a psalm of the sons of Korah, and now we come today to a prayer of David. So again, something different. We've been in what we've called the book of Asaph, because beginning earlier, we've had this third book of the Psalter. Really, all the psalms seem to have been written or collected by Asaph. We've come now to 2, 84 and 85, which were done by the sons of Korah. This one happens to be a prayer written by David. Let me read verses 1, 2, and 3. Bow down thine ear, O Lord, hear me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. You'll notice right away in here we have some things that remind us quickly of David. First of all, that very first phrase, bow down thine ear, O Lord. This we've seen before, Psalm 31, which was a Davidic psalm. David actually uses that very language, bow down thine ear, O Lord. We've heard that phrase before. So it's common to us to now think of that in light of David's work in the Psalter. Hear me, he says. I think that maybe we could also translate that word, answer me. The Lord is being requested to listen to this prayer of David. And then notice the next phrase, I am poor and needy. Do you remember Psalm 34? We talked about the poor man. And actually the poor man came to light for us there in Psalm 34. And ever since then we've noticed how the poor man seems to find his way into these psalms. The poor man in Psalm 34, in verse 6 of Psalm 34 says, this poor man cries unto you, O Lord. Well, we talked about that. The poor man is us. We are the poor man. Of course, we have to recognize that. We come to the Lord as poor men and women. We don't come to the Lord offering Him something. We come to the Lord having empty hands and empty hearts. We need Him to answer us because we are poor and needy. So David bows his heart before the Lord and comes to Him in that way. The poor man returns here in Psalm 86. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. This is why I think perhaps this is messianic. The idea of the servant here, the holy servant, mentioned here in verse 2, we have the servant again in verse 4, we have the servant again in verse 16, and then also in verse 16, the statement, the son of thine handmaid, which, of course, that refers to, I think, Mary. It's a very honest leap for us to make, to remember Mary, the mother of Jesus. You know, when she said to the angel, behold, the handmaid of the Lord, be it unto me according to your word. So that's why I want to entitle this psalm this week, The Suffering Servant's Prayer. He's making supplication here in the first 7 verses, and we're going to see more of this prayer, and I hope you'll join me this week as we go through it verse by verse on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.